Well, it's time to show another update on my indoor growing experiments. I got out today and sifted out some compost. So I've got this fish container here, 2/3 full. And when I got further down, I realized why I didn't have it more sifted out. This has to be fairly dry for it to go through the screen decently at all. And so I was waiting for it to dry out, but we had a lot of rain, and then I was doing other things. So I went out today and I started to sift it, and it wouldn't go down through. I had to really force it and break it up, and it was a little difficult. So I said, that's why I didn't have more sifted out. I was able to get this much though, and by that time I was getting deeper into the compost, and it was just clumping together like crazy. I have this 2/3 full. These bags back here, this is the stuff I got from out in the forest. And I have this bucket here. This is the soil that's in the large planter up in the sunroom. There is compost mixed in with it, and the rest is a sort of topsoil, the same kind of soil that's underneath my lawn, but I got it somewhere else. The reason I'm going to use this, I found if I put half and half of my compost and my forest material, that when I got this wet, it packed in too tight. So now I don't technically put it 1/3 of each, because what I'm doing is, see, the handfuls are, with this stuff I could only take up half as much anyway because it's really loose. Then I had to sift out the larger material, and then I'll mix it. And I found by doing that, then it gives me pretty much the right texture. So now with that mixture, now you can see it goes together into a ball and falls apart easily, like a crumbly brownie mixture, as some people would say. Now I've got two things to do today. One is to put the parsley up into cups, but I did get my other seeds. The St. John's wort seeds, I'm going to set some of those. When you order from Harvest Seeds, you see it says free gift. They always send an extra packet. Now I don't know if it's always lettuce seeds. They sent me Cimarron lettuce the last time. This time they sent me mascara lettuce. So I have lettuce seeds to set for my indoor growing over the winter. Now I'm going to harvest these microgreens and have a little snack with my favorite dressing, Catalina. Got a bowl here. I don't know how much of a bowl I need to get these. Of course, there, that's them few. This one here, I have very little soil in it. That's why I have this container here, because I'm thinking I should be able to take the mold. You see? I'll show you the bottom now. I can take them out and put them right there. And now I can cut just above the top of the soil line. Now if I add some cheese, I'd put some grated cheese in with this, some bacon bits, whatever, but currently I don't, so I'm just going to eat these with some Carolina dressing on it. Skim this right down and get as much as possible. You see? There is my finished harvest. That'll be a beautiful little snack. Now, before I eat that, what I thought, I don't really need to have a true potting soil for this. Just take some of the material, the forest floor material, put that in there. The thing is, I have to get it to soak up the water first, right? So I can't just put the water in and throw the seeds in on top. I have to wait for the material to soak up the water a bit. And as I mentioned in the last video, this is the rutabaga seed that I grew there this fall. So I'm just going to put a bunch of these in and we will see how they sprout, and I'll get microgreens at the same time. So I'm just going to put this over on the shelf now. I am going to pot these lettuce now up into these containers. Six in all. Now, I've only done 6 because what I'm going to do is separate these out and spread them out throughout this container and see how well they grow. Take this guy for a dibber. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I'll just transfer over 6 and leave the other one. It has a really long root. So I'm going to have to put it right down to the bottom of the container. Like so, that should work. all set and watered in. Looks like I need a shave too. But I took my kale, I put them here. Now as you can see, I've got 4 put here. I started in the sunroom because this is actually the coldest area, and this is where the plants are doing the least well. There's 2 tiny Tim tomatoes. They're not growing, but they're still quite perky. So they're alive and well. Now this thing, I'm not sure. We had a couple of particularly cold nights and I come out and it was all drooped. I continually test the soil on top and it's always moist. Like the temperature is just very low, so the evaporation out there is very slow anyway. But I gave it water and it is starting to perk back up. This was like 3 days ago now. It was drooped down and it's just looking now like it's starting to liven up again. The peppers, they're doing the same as ever. I'm not sure about my bitter bush tomato. You see, I got the yellowing of the leaves on the bottom here. And the leaves are all curled. It's like this plant is under stress. I have a fresh flower here, so it's warm enough. So I'm trying to make sure it's got water, it's got lots of fertilizer. I mean, there's a lot of compost in this soil that it's sitting in. And, well, we'll see how it pans out. Now these guys down here, they're looking quite healthy. I'm going to put a stick in beside them. Because if you remember, I was doing the measuring the growth inside, and so I'll measure the growth on those now. I'll bring you in a little closer. See, they look to be quite healthy plants. So it's nice, but I don't know if they're growing any. Up here on the top shelf, this basil is further in, so he's probably a little warmer and it's still surviving. It looks like this one is damping off on the bottom there. The peppers are surviving, but the one in the store-bought potting mix is still droopy all the time. And the basil, well, that's lime basil, and they're a weak plant anyway. That's not surviving. I've got the one hot pepper here. You know, I'm going to move it back a bit and we'll see how it does a little further away from the window. Another lime basil, that's pretty much dead. And the mammoth basil, that died out here. So they need warmer temperatures, so I can't grow basil out here. Now as far as in by the bay window goes, this is looking beautiful. This plant is growing well, and I have inadvertently made a aquaponics thing here, because it has grown its roots out through the bottom of the pot and down into the water reservoir down below. So for that plant, so long as I've got water in there with nutrients in it, it'll live fine. So you remember, I've been checking the growth. This is the one I did this morning. You see, so these plants are growing fairly well. I mean, it's only 10 days from that second one down to the top one. And here again. So that's wonderful. These are the summer savory they're coming along. The Beza doesn't seem to be doing that well here either. And of course it's not getting a whole lot of light. This is the shortest day of the year, and at this time we get a lot of cloudy weather. I have 2 hot peppers there that seem to be living along fine enough. They're not growing, but they're living fine. And this guy seems to be growing. That's the Tiny Tim tomato. Those are the mammoth basil. They're starting to come along over there. These are the 2 unknowns. So once again, I made a line for them this morning. They haven't grown as fast as the ones on the other side, but they have grown in the last few days. And there's the winter savory. This thing here, this is green lemon thyme. It got attacked by a bunch of white flies. I brought it in the bathtub and I washed off all the white flies, but it died. Now, this looks like a fresh shoot though of green lemon thyme is growing there. I have to let it grow a little bit before I can actually see what it is. This is the chives from the bay window, and what I have noticed is that when you cut chives, a lot of the stuff remaining, it dies. So now I've got a bunch of chives there with a lot of dead stuff in between, and you can go through and probably pick it all out. It'll take you an awful long time. So I had an idea. Since these are straight, like hairs, I'll take a comb. See, a lot of combs you buy, they've got the thin part and then they have the wide part. And I can comb out this plant and comb the dead stuff out of it. The dead stuff will come up. The green stuff, of course, still has roots, so it sticks in. See, I can pull pretty hard on it, and that the stuff that's still alive won't come out. Now, I don't know if I worked at this long enough if I will get all of it out, but see, this is what I just combed out of this. Got some green ones, but for the most part it's just all the dead stuff. And I have more of a green plant here now. This is my second time doing it, so I'm still learning quite how this can be done. So there, I got quite a bit of the dead stuff out, and I'll put it back up. This is a north-facing window. It's right over my kitchen sink. So I'm not expecting things to grow very well. But I have one of the chocolate peppers, mammoth basil, sweet basil, lime basil. Surprisingly, the lime basil is doing fairly well there. Of course, it's always nice and warm. Tiny Tim tomato, it doesn't seem to be liking it here in that pot. But I have another one over here that's doing a little better. You can see that leaf is not looking the healthiest. And there's one of my hot peppers. These are summer savory. So I have these growing on the kitchen window, which faces pretty much directly north, just to see how they'll do. I'm not, like I say, expecting to get a lot out of them. And now we're back to the grow room. Let's go up here on the top shelf. You see that chocolate pepper, he's doing very well. I had to move the lights up that far because he was up around the lights. And then they are slanted down because look at how well the basils are doing down there, even including this lime basil. It's doing really well. And they were up in the lights down on the other shelf, and I wanted to put small stuff down there, so I had to move these up under this light. I brought two of my kale down here to see how they do. So I just brought those down here today, so they're the same size now as the ones that are up in the sunroom. This is a copycat of Christopher Bradshaw in the UK. This is how he grows his basil. He just puts a whole bunch of seed in a 1 or 2 gallon pot and grows them as a big bunch. This pepper, I guess I'll do this pepper as well. I'm going to move them up into bigger pots, say 1 gallon, gallon and a half. These lights, I only have 2 more of these sockets. So when I go to town next, I'm going to buy 2 more, and I'm going to make another of that 4 light bracket. And I will put it out so that I can have a row out here, and I'll have my bigger plants on this shelf. Now we'll go down to the bottom shelf. You see, I took the 4-foot light I had above and I put it in here. So when I get the money, I can put in one more 4-foot light and I'll have a full shelf worth of grow lights here. So I can fill this shelf out completely with these small trays. So my lettuces, they're doing fine. I brought down one of the hot peppers to here to see how it will grow here, because I had them all taken upstairs. So we'll check that out now. One of the basils was just still small, and there's the parsley. This back here is summer savory, and they are starting to take off, as you can see, the ones up touching the light there. And these are starting to noticeably grow as well. That's the winter savory. Now let's see how many St. John's wort we can see. None in the first container. That's little bits of moss there, the green you see. In the second container we have one right there. Very hard to see because they're only little tiny things. That's 2 there and another one there. This is one that has sprouted, but it looks like it's one of those cases where the leaves couldn't get out of the seed pod. They might come yet. We'll see. There's another one right here that has come up. And over here, there's one there. And one right down there. That green dot there. There's another one right there. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I missed one. 9, 10. Over here, let's see, we got 11, 12, 13, 14, and none in the last one. So we've got 14 St. John's wort seeds sprouted. And now here's an excitement. I'll reach in and get this. So I set the turnip seed and I got pretty much 100% germination. Rutabaga seed. I took that off yesterday morning, the cover off it, and they haven't turned green yet. So I'm just waiting for them to turn green now and perk up a little more. But that's wonderful. I know I've got good seed. Put this pepper plant in this coffee container now and see how well it grows in there. It wasn't severely root bound though. It wasn't root bound at all. Actually, there's still quite a bit of soil around there. There we go, another well-planted pepper plant. Have my 2 pepper plants into larger pots. And that'll do them well for a long time. Thank you for watching this video. Hit that thumbs up button if you liked it. And I'll see you in the next video.